stadium lights flicker like dying stars over a career that was supposed to be set in stone, yet the silence following Zac Lomax's latest career move is louder than any crowd roar. Everyone assumed the script was written when he inked that massive deal with the Tigers, but the ink is starting to look like disappearing fluid as whispers from the inner sanctum suggest a seismic shift is currently underway. While the cameras were focused on his highlights, a shadow operation was being coordinated in the dark corners of the recruitment offices, involving a plane ticket that doesn't lead to Sydney. The bombshell isn't just that he might leave before he even arrives, it is the fact that the destination is the one place everyone claimed was financially impossible. Former Tigers chairman Lee Hagipantelis just dropped a truth bomb that has left the NRL community paralyzed, hinting that the Melbourne Storm are not just spectators in this race, but potentially the ones holding the finish line tape. The stability of the league's most expensive roster is currently vibrating under the pressure of a secret pact that could change the ladder's face forever. Subscribe to all sports updates. The narrative surrounding Lomax has always been one of a restless soul trapped in a structured system, but the twist involving Craig Bellamy's recruitment strategy adds a layer of calculated genius to this unfolding drama. Hagipantelis knows where the bodies are buried in these contracts, and his insistence that Melbourne remains a viable landing spot suggests a loophole exists that the public hasn't even glimpsed yet. This isn't just about a player wanting a change of scenery, it's about a tactical hijacking by a powerhouse club that views Lomax as the final piece of a championship-winning puzzle. While the Tigers faithful are waiting for their star to arrive, the paperwork might be undergoing a radical transformation behind closed doors. The tension between the club's public confidence and the private reality of player restlessness creates a vacuum that only a team like the Storm can fill. If you thought this deal was signed, sealed, and delivered, you haven't been paying attention to the frantic phone calls happening between agents and executives at 3 in the morning. The Melbourne Storm have a history of turning disgruntled stars into immortal legends, and the prospect of Zac Lomax under the tutelage of the game's greatest coach is a terrifying thought for every other team in the competition. It's no secret that the Tigers are in a state of perpetual rebuilding, a process that can grind down even the most optimistic athlete, while Melbourne offers the immediate gratification of a winning culture and a professional structure that is second to none. Hagipantelis pointed out that in the modern era of professional rugby league, a contract is often just the opening bid in a much longer negotiation. The psychological weight of playing for a struggling club versus the prestige of wearing the purple jersey is a factor that no amount of money can truly offset. We are witnessing a high-stakes game of poker where the Tigers are betting on loyalty, while the Storm are betting on the sheer gravitational pull of success. The air in the Tigers' boardroom must be thick with the realization that their prize signing is staring at the exit sign before he's even walked through the front door. Every time Lomax steps onto the field, the subtext of his performance is scrutinized for signs of where his heart truly lies, and lately, the signals are pointing south toward AAMI Park. There is a specific kind of electricity that fills a locker room when a player of his caliber is rumored to be on the move, and at the Tigers, that energy is currently curdling into a sense of impending loss. Hagipantelis isn't a man known for speaking without a foundation of facts, so when he suggests that the Melbourne move is still a live wire, the entire industry stops to listen. This is storytelling at its most volatile, where the protagonist is caught between the obligation of a signed document and the burning desire for a legacy that only an elite club can provide. The Storm are notorious for their wait-and-see approach, letting the chaos of other clubs create the perfect opportunity for them to swoop in and secure a bargain. This isn't just a transfer rumor, it's a strategic siege on a club that thought they had finally secured their future. Check out all sports updates. When you look at the mechanics of the salary cap, the idea of Lomax in Melbourne seems like a mathematical impossibility, yet history shows that the Storm always find a way to make the numbers dance to their tune. The departure of key veterans has freed up just enough oxygen for a marquee signing, and Lomax's versatility makes him the ultimate weapon for a backline that thrives on athleticism and high-pressure execution. The Tigers' leadership is reportedly scrambling to fortify their position, but the more they tighten their grip, the more the situation seems to slip through their fingers like sand. There is a visceral sense of irony in a former chairman being the one to pull back the curtain on the fragility of the Tigers' current recruitment strategy. It reveals a fracture in the foundation of the club's long-term planning, proving that no player is ever truly unsellable if the right suitor comes knocking with a compelling enough vision. The storm clouds aren't just a metaphor, they are a literal representation of the purple wave about to crash over the Tigers' parade. The human element of this saga is what truly grips the audience, as we watch a young man's career become a tug-of-war between two vastly different ideologies of rugby league. On one side, you have the Tigers, offering the chance to be the face of a revolution and the savior of a historic brand, and on the other, the Storm, offering a cog in the machine role that almost guarantees a premiership ring. Zac Lomax is currently standing at a crossroads where one path leads to potential struggle and immense individual pressure, while the other leads to the calculated, cold efficiency of the Melbourne winning machine. Hagipantelis' comments have acted as a catalyst, turning a quiet concern into a loud, public debate about the ethics of player movement and the power of the elite. The drama isn't just in the destination, but in the realization that the Tigers might be powerless to stop the inevitable if the player's mind is already made up. It is a Shakespearean tragedy played out on the grass of the NRL, where loyalty is the first casualty of ambition. If the move to Melbourne actually crystallizes, it will be remembered as one of the greatest recruitment heists in the history of the sport, leaving the Tigers with a massive hole in their roster and an even bigger one in their pride. The fallout would be catastrophic for the Sydney-based club, signalling to the rest of the league that they are still a feeding ground for the apex predators of the NRL. Meanwhile, the Storm would once again prove that their recruitment department operates on a different plane of existence, identifying and acquiring talent with a surgical precision that defies the logic of the salary cap. The fans are currently caught in a state of suspended animation, waiting for a definitive statement that may never come until the day Lomax is photographed in a different training kit. This level of uncertainty is what keeps the 24-hour news cycle spinning, but for the Tigers faithful, it is a slow-motion car crash that they are forced to watch from the front row. The power dynamics of the league are shifting in real time, and the epicenter is a single player's signature. As we peel back the layers of this recruitment onion, the smell of desperation from the Tigers camp becomes increasingly pungent, contrasted sharply by the cool, collected silence emanating from Melbourne. It is the classic battle between the new money bravado of a rebuilding club and the old money prestige of a perennial powerhouse that doesn't need to shout to be heard. Hagipantelis has effectively lit a fuse on a bomb that was already ticking, and the explosion will likely redefine how we view player contracts for the next decade. The reality is that in the modern game, the player holds all the cards, and if Zac Lomax decides his future is in Melbourne, there is very little a boardroom in Sydney can do to tether him down. We are approaching the endgame of this saga, where the posturing ends and the cold hard reality of the team list begins. The speculation has moved past the if and is now firmly rooted in the when, leaving the rugby league world breathless. The final whistle on this story hasn't blown yet, but the momentum is clearly swinging toward a shock conclusion that few saw coming when the season began. Whether Lomax stays to fight for the Tigers or flees for the sanctuary of the Storm, the ripples of this controversy will be felt for seasons to come, serving as a cautionary tale for any club that thinks a signature is a guarantee of service. The game is changing, the players are evolving, and the power structures of the NRL are being dismantled by the very stars they look to for salvation. As the sun sets on another day of speculation, the only certainty is that the Tigers are looking over their shoulders, and the Storm are looking straight ahead at their next trophy. The drama of the NRL never truly sleeps, it only waits for the next contract to be contested. Stay tuned because the next chapter of the Zac Lomax Odyssey is about to be written in the most unexpected colors. Thanks for watching All Sports Updates. Would you like me to create a similar script for a different NRL player transfer rumor?